journey, isn't it? So after so many years of being absolutely miserable and that self-imposed misery, coming out on the other side and being able to share that's
Good evening, Australia. Welcome to the show. I'm Michael Kuzilny, and it's the Michael Kuzilny Show. Tough times never last, and God bless you all. We've just gone through a major challenge all over Australia, but things are starting to get a lot better. I'm a criminal defence lawyer. I've been around the criminal justice system for about 30 years, and I've always been inspired by helping people through the tough times. So thank you very much for tuning in all these years. All the guests on our couch have been beautiful people, authentic, and they've all got a great story to share. Tonight we've got the great lady, Trudy Pavlovsky, from a lady who wanted to suicide on multiple occasions to one of the most happiest and beautiful people you could meet. Trudy, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
Look at you. Look at you.
Yeah, it's a bit different to how I was 20 years ago.
Yeah, look at you smiling. I saw you smiling. But, you know, when I read about your life story, growing up in country Victoria, you never quite fitted in, you said, and life got so bad that you wanted to take your life on 3 occasions.
Yes. Yeah, it was. It has been a very interesting journey, especially growing up in the country where everyone knows who you are and it can be very judgmental, and being somebody that never fitted in any way. Always put you on the back foot.
Why do you say that, Trudy? Like you've got such a lovely personality, not fitting in. You said you got bullied at school. Why do you think you didn't fit in?
Well, my parents got divorced when I was very young, and back in those days, divorce was not the done thing. And due to various traumas and certain things I witnessed as a child, I grew up very quickly. So I didn't fit in with the let's just play Barbies. I grew up too quickly, so I didn't fit in.
That makes sense. And so everyone else, all the girls are having a great time, and you weren't really part of the in crowd. You know, and isn't it amazing, viewers? You know, there's so many sheep on this planet, isn't there? We've got to talk the same, go to the same clubs, but you know, you're beautiful just the way you are. And I always find it's the people, the originals, who have all the fun, you know. And look at people, successful people, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Oprah. I mean, these are successful people, but everyone's a little bit different. So try to be different. Don't be part of the sheep mentality.
Well, it was interesting because we didn't have the money that the other kids had. So I didn't get the new toys, the new clothes. So by the time I was a teenager, I decided I'm never going to fit in anyway, so I'm going to make a point of really standing out. So while all the kids in high school are listening to Jimmy Barnes, I'm listening to The Cure. Like, they're all wearing their country red jeans. I'm wearing, like, black.
God bless you, darling. So so a lot of people remember school as, you know, a great place full of joy, hang around with the girls, but but it's really made you the person you are. Tell me about the first time that you thought, I've had enough of this, I want to take my life.
Well, it's in primary school, I was pretty unhappy anyway, but I think back then I didn't know what suicide was. So even at a very young age, I didn't really want to be here, but didn't know what to do about it. So by the time I was a teenager, that became part of the expression of self-harming. And then by the time I hit 20, I'd been put on antidepressant medication. I was told I was this, and given an identity, and a whole heap of, it all happened in the space of 6 months, and then a whole heap of traumatic memories came up of things that, you know, you could block down, push down, repress.
And what did you do when you said, I'm going to end my life? Tell me.
So I was on sleeping tablets because I've been having really bad insomnia. I just sat there and just thought, I can't do this. I don't want to do this anymore.
And what did you do, Trudy?
So I grabbed a whole heap of sleeping tablets, a whole heap of different medications and stuff, and just jammed them in my face and swallowed them all down and didn't expect to wake up.
How old were you then?
It was probably about 3 or 4 months before I turned 21.
Wow. No boyfriend at the time?
Yeah, I did have a boyfriend, and he was the one that found me.
Thank God for that. So,
David, if you're watching, I'm so sorry.
wow, David, we are a good man. Wonder where David is now. And what amazing! And of course, at that time, there was the shit influences, the party drugs, the partying. It all seemed like fantastic at the time.
Oh, the partying came later.
Oh, it came later.
that came and
so
after.
So you wanted to take your life, but you didn't on that beautiful day. Did things change then, or did?
Well, I got packed off and sent to Larundel, which is now closed down.
That's amazing.
Not a very happy place. So I basically lied to get out of there. I'm like, no, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm sorry, I will behave, I will never do it again. Pushed everything back down.
Now, this is amazing, folks. I used to be a policeman in the first, for about 10 years. I was a cop before I became a criminal defence lawyer. And, sometimes people would attend jobs and with psychiatric patients, we'd go to Larundel, and they were beautiful people, but sometimes life kicks you in the head so hard that, you go off track. But we used to go there, and I'm sure the place was, it's got ghosts. I drove past a few times, but it was basically a mental asylum for men and women, or?
Men and women. There was, I've gone back and researched the history of it. At the time I didn't know, but there was different levels of how ill you were. So I was in a more open ward. There was men and women.
God bless you.
Yeah, it was.
How scary. I mean, and were mum and dad supportive during that time?
They were shocked. They were devastated. Like, they came down to Melbourne and, did what they could.
Can I ask you this? How did you end up at Larundel? Was it a
volunteer? My partner found me.
Yeah.
Called his parents.
Yeah.
Took me to Box Hill Hospital. They pumped my stomach, and that was an interesting experience in itself. And then they put me in an ambulance and took me to Larundel.
So you got admitted as an involuntary patient. And how long did you stay there for?
3 or 4 days, I think.
Yeah. Amazing wake-up call, isn't it?
I like to learn my lessons, the hard way, so I have to go back and do it.
And how did you talk yourself out of that place? Because they usually like to keep you for a little while, don't they?
Well, my mum was there, and I think because she was there and she was happy to vouch for me, because it wasn't expected or normal behaviour. So,
any crazy stuff happened there before you go to the break, yeah?
Oh, I was sitting in the garden and some man came up and told me I was pretty and gave me flowers, and I'm like, I don't feel very safe here. Please let me go home. It was cold. It was a cold place. It felt very indifferent and not crazy funny stories, but I just remember hearing the screaming at night. And that was like, I don't ever want to.
Because in those days they were taking people and they gave them that shock therapy. You didn't see any of that?
I didn't see any of that.
No. What an amazing story. And that's your 20s. I'm interested to hear about the 30s.
Early 20s.
Thank you very much for watching. The great Trudy on the couch. What a beautiful lady. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you so much for watching. What an amazing lady from a pretty shit childhood of wanting to take her life and not thinking she can fit in to Larundel, a mental health institution, to other challenges. But I'm always inspired how some people are really great at getting on top of crisis and other people have self-pity parties for the rest of their life. As a criminal defence lawyer, I speak to many, many people, and I think that's probably what inspired me to help people through the tough times. And I've certainly been through my own difficult issues as divorce and other challenges, but I always make sure to go through the grieving, and then there's always a get up and go day, I think it's really important to get on top of crisis and to remember that you're a very beautiful and kind-hearted person just the way you are, You don't need to change for anybody, and I think that's one of the greatest things about life, always trying to fit in with the crowd. Isn't that right, Trudy? We're always concerned about the opinions of others when really others don't even think about us.
We're programmed and conditioned from a very young age to care, to seek external validation. We're not taught as little kids to be good and comfortable within ourselves and be okay with who we are.
And I'm so glad that you're so bloody okay the way you are, because
I'm so self-validated now.
Isn't that amazing, viewers? You know, you come to an age where you don't give one single crap about what other people think about you, and you just start showing kindness towards others. I'm always wondering, Trudy, how, you know, all the babies in life, they're all friendly, they're smiling. The older people, they're friendly, they're smiling, authentic, but somewhere in between, we've turned into these bloody serious, hardened, sour-faced people who are too scared to really talk about their lives.
Consequence bias. You've just described consequence bias.
Consequence
the older you get, the more you filter it. This could happen, this could be bad, I could lose, I'm going to miss out. And people stop living and they start holding back. And that's why I'm a happiness technician, because we forget how to be happy. We forget how to enjoy a moment.
But I won't let you off into the happy technician just now. Tell us about the other 2 times you tried to take your life.
The other 2 times, the second time was a bit embarrassing. I don't know what happened. It was over a boy, and he just head games, and I was done.
What happened?
We were out one night, and we weren't officially together, and he went home with someone else.
And what did you do?
I went home and got a knife out and said some very choice swear words to myself, and got a knife, and just my housemates found me.
Didn't work. What about the third time? Well, we're talking about suicide attempts. And I'm not making a light of this at all, but I'm just impressed that she's still sitting here. We could have lost her 3 times. God bless her, you know. If you were thinking about doing anything stupid out there, just have one night to think about this and listen to this great lady. So, third time?
The third time was hugely traumatic. I was drugged and raped by 2 people that I thought I could trust.
God bless you.
I take responsibility for it in the way that because I was taking drugs and partying, and I chose to be there and I chose to take the drugs, didn't choose what happened next. They filmed it. I don't remember any of it. I nearly died.
How old were you then, Dale?
27.
That's disgraceful, isn't it?
And then 2 weeks later, I had a miscarriage, or 3 weeks later, which wasn't necessarily directly.
When you say you knew these people, was it a boyfriend or
intimate partner and his best friend?
And his best friend, but the best friend wasn't supposed to be part of the party. No. Amazing, disgraceful.
The only reason I knew was because they filmed it and then they gave me the video because they thought that.
It sounds like, Trudy, you didn't even take any further, no?
I saw the video.
Yeah.
And it was just too humiliating at that time.
Yeah.
I wasn't strong enough within myself to say, hey, and show the world what they did to me. I was basically unconscious. Yeah. So I destroyed the tape.
Yeah.
And then self-destructed over the next 6 months until I got to the point where you probably can't see the scars.
Yeah, I can see the scars, God bless you. And I bet you any money, we don't rehearse these interviews, my beautiful friends, but I bet you any money that those people who committed those disgraceful acts aren't very successful, happy, because you can't do shit like that. Because I always think life's got a perfect accounting system. What we give out comes back, and I bet you any money in a minute Trudy will say, no, some bad shit happened to him, you know. And that's why, even this workplace here, my criminal law firm, is a gossip-free zone. As soon as anybody talks about shit or backstabbing or this or that, I walk away, I will not allow myself to talk crap about any person, unless I find out that they are a crap person, because I know it's going to come back. I bet you those guys who raped you and did all that stuff aren't in a happy place.
I don't know.
You wiped the slate.
But ultimately, they saw an opportunity and they took it.
They took it.
I forgive them.
Wow. Forgiveness is a very big thing.
What am I going to do? They don't know where I am or who I am anymore. Why am I going to... What's that saying? It's like holding onto a hot coal and expecting the other person to feel pain. You've got to let it go.
True, that's a lot of hurdles in a very short life. Is there any other hurdles before you turned your life around? Name a few others, because this is amazing. You're an amazing, courageous lady.
Look, that was the point. After all of that happened and I did this, didn't expect to wake up, went and saw my doctor and he glued my arm back together, and I just when I woke up, because I also attempted to overdose again, I just sat there and I'm like, these people don't care. You can't keep punishing yourself. And that's when I discovered personal development.
Wow.
And you know what? I'd been to counselling and psychologists and doctors and medication, and none of that had worked. It's more that Band-Aid sort of thing. And I was just like, well, I've got to figure it out for myself. And that was the turning point.
Isn't that amazing? And after the next break, I'm going to ask you about who or which book or inspired you to change. But thanks very much for watching, everybody. What an amazing lady, and it's so true, isn't it? Happiness is an inside job. You know, if you're relying on happiness from your partner, you might be having sex with or loving, or the holiday, or the cocaine, or the job title, or the Porsche, you know, you're never going to be happy. Happiness is an inside job, and once you get this right, everything else will fall into place. We'll be back very shortly. What an amazing lady, folks. Country Victoria is where she grew up, young Trudy. Didn't quite fit in with the crowd because mum and dad got divorced. Tried to take her life by too many pills. Got into the party scene. Got raped by her boyfriend and some other bloke who, disgraceful act, who drugged her. Tried to take her life another couple of times, and she's still here smiling. Huh? God bless you.
I'm here for a purpose.
And I love the authenticity. I can see the scars, you know. At one stage they said they locked you up in a Larundel, you know. But what was the turnaround? Can you remember the day when you said, hey, delete the disease to please? You know, I'm really going to work on self to get rid of all this fear and all this tension, all this depression. What was that turning point?
I'd actually read a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Dr. Susan Jeffers, and that was my first, see, I even remember who wrote it. It was my first personal development book before I even knew what personal development was.
How old were you then?
Would have been 26, around then. So I think when I woke up and I didn't expect to wake up again, it was just, that was the turning point. That was like blood on my arm. I actually had parked down by a beach. I was in my car. And everyone was just walking past. Nobody checked. Nobody knocked on the window to see if I was okay. And I was just like, wow, all right, I'm still here. I've got to change something.
Yeah.
Because everyone's walking past. It's got to be you. Make the decision. And that's when I realised life is decisions and choices. So that's when I decided I've got to start making better choices.
So up until that point, how would you describe your life?
I was holding down a job. I was managing photo stores for Rabbit. Like, I looked good. I was going out and partying on the weekends. I was popular. But
deep down, there was this insecure little girl who just didn't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, who was just fake.
Yeah,
it was just fake. So yeah, then I found a course online for life coaching, and I met people, and then all the personal development stuff started coming, and so for the last 15, 16 years, I've been studying human potential, and I am my best test. So
amazing. Yeah. Did you have to fire a lot of people when you changed your life? You know, folks, we have a lot of shit people in our lives because of our own security. You know, and I moved interstate. I moved interstate. I would say life's too short for useless acquaintances. You know, we don't need too many friends. One or two is okay, the ones you can trust. But a lot of people are just acquaintances, and they backstab you. You know. And you moved into state where to?
I moved to Adelaide. I got a promotion with the job that I was working for.
Wow.
It was my first regional manager's job in retail, so I moved over there for 6 months.
Wow.
Came back for a year and then got promoted back to Adelaide again. But in that time, like even having moved back to Melbourne now, I still go out clubbing every now and then, have a bit of a dance, but the temptation to immerse myself back into that scene. And
sure.
I don't need the drugs anymore.
What drugs were you on?
Speed, ecstasy were the main ones, bit of acid, marijuana. Never shot anything up. Because even in all of this mess, I still had this groundedness of like, don't go too far. The drugs, like I've been off heroin and all of this stuff and just said, yeah, no, I'm going to go home now. And I think that's what kept me through, because I remember when I was little, my mum said to me, you can be anything that you want in the world. You don't have to get married and have kids. You can be a policewoman, a teacher. You can be anything.
Wow.
And I think that stayed. That was so impressionable for me. It's like, I'm here for a purpose. And I keep waking up when I don't expect to. And it's like, there's got to be.
Isn't that amazing, folks? This is an amazing story, isn't it? This girl's very real. There's so many social masks out there, isn't there? And if you've been diagnosed with depression or bipolar or borderline personality or all this stuff, you know, I've been around the criminal justice system for so long, everyone comes in with a title. I'm this, I'm that. But that was you years ago. You know, we can overwrite the program. Half the time I'm a bit concerned about people who, you know, get a title and they run with it, you know. There was a guy at Rotary I met, he was 70 and I saw him taking some antidepressants in the toilets, and I said, you know, he's worth $40 million. I said, what are they for? He goes, oh, Michael, I got sexually abused by the Christian brothers. I said, how old were you when that happened? He goes, 14. I said, and 60 years later, you're still on that mess. He goes, well, everything was okay, Michael, until I went to see the psychologist and started talking about it 2 years ago. Yeah, isn't it amazing? So before, everything was cool, and then he started replaying those stories, and he's popping antidepressants. I took those antidepressants and threw them in the bin, you know, because I think we can overwrite the program.
I do a lot of identity work on myself and with people that I work with, because you can go back and rewrite the meaning of everything that happened in your past. So for me, a lot of my trauma happened between 5 and 10, different sexual abuses and things.
Who by?
Different people.
Just disgraceful people.
Everyone I knew. But I went back and I reparented my inner child.
Wow.
Rewrote the meaning around what I felt about myself.
Yeah.
Because when you're little, or even as an adult, you take responsibility and you feel blamed and dirty and there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. It was just.
So all those titles, you know, these people diagnosed you with, you just threw them on the ground. You just forgot about them.
Oh, I've had doctors want to tell me that I'm bipolar, that I'm borderline personality disorder, all of these things, and I'm like, well, once you give me a title, like you said, once you give me an identity, you want me to live to that? And I lived to that, especially from when I first got put on antidepressants. I lived the identity of like, I've been given these tablets. I must be depressed.
Trudy,
There's something wrong with it.
I'd love to talk to you over and over, but what an amazing story from this to this, and you're smiling, you're helping others. How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn some of that beautiful inspiration?
If you Google me, you'll find me on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm all over social.
The happiness. Thank you so much for coming on, and viewers, thank you very much. Love and best wishes from Michael Kuzilny. Make sure to check out this lady. She calls herself a happiness technician, and also make sure to check out our YouTube channel. All the very best. We'll see you next week. Good night.